Hi everyone, John Falstrom back here, June 10th, 2017. We're at the EADG4 headquarters, and I'm kind of on a roll with double octave scales, seeing the fretboard horizontally instead of going vertically. So right now I want to do a very important scale or mode, whatever you want to call it, same thing, the Mixolydian mode. M-I-X, mix, let's see, I got to spell it in my head now, O-L-I-A-D-N. So M-I-X-O-L-Y-D-I-A-N, Mixolydian mode. It's in my book, EADG4. That's why I did it, so I can remember all this stuff. The book's been out, actually my first edition of EADG4 came out in 1993. Actually almost exactly 24 years ago. It's been, I've edited, I've added to it, I've never subtracted from it. It's on its fourth edition, final edition. It's been like this since 2009, for the last 8 years, and I can't possibly put anything else in there because there's not room anymore, okay? But everything's in there. But again, we're going to talk about the Mixolydian mode, and all this stuff is in my book, the finger patterns, everything. The notes, Mixolydian mode, very important scale. Especially in rock, blues, well, any style of music. Now, here's the Mixolydian mode that most people, if you know it, it's a major scale, but you flat the 7. So you got root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 8. Okay? Now, the reason you flat the 7, it's like, well, how come, why do we flat the 7? Well, this came from staying in the key. So actually we're in the key of C. So you go to the 5th note and C is G. That's where you play your Mixolydian mode on the 5 chord. Okay? But for blues, rock, it's a little different story. I had a session on this too. Playing the modes in blues, playing the modes in 12-bar blues rock. So what happens is on your key, say we're in the key of G, I'm going to use G today. You play blues, you're going to use that flat 7 because it's a blue note. Okay? It's a blue note. You really don't want to play that major 7th only in passing, like that, perhaps. But you really want to focus on that flat 7 because it's a blue note. In the key of G, you got 2 blue notes. B flat, the flat 3rd, and F. And that first chord is probably going to be a dominant 7th, or it can be, which is a root 3, 5, flat 7. Very important sound of blues and blues rock. So the Mixolydian mode is very important. So you would play this on the 1 chord. We're in the key of G. The first chord is G, and you're playing blues or blues rock. You'll hear it. You play the flat 7. You play the Mixolydian mode. That's your go-to scale to improvise. So what we want to do is we want to see this and take it up horizontally. So I'll do a double octave, but I'll do the first octave first. So it goes like this. So it's 1, 1, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 4. Back down. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. G. G, F, E. It's nice to know. If you know your notes, it'd be nice that you see your notes. I don't see frets. I see notes first. And I see note relationships, how they relate to the root. So this is an F. Last thing that's the 8th fret. I know that. That's a given. Duh, that's a duh. Duh, it's the 8th fret. But you want to know that's the flat 7 of G, and it's an F note. That's what you want to know if you want to do this. If it's not in your plans, don't worry about it. Okay, that's an F. Here's an E, D, C, B, A, G. So if you got an F, here's your flat 7. We'll play the F down here too, below the root. That's in the game too. So here's your Mixolydian mode going up here. You want to see it. So when you're playing your G down here, see, I know my G is up here. See, that's why people go up, when you see a bass player doing this, he's just taking this, just get a little different flavor because of the thicker string. The A string is thicker than the D string. It gives you a different tone, a little darker, a little deeper, because it's on a thicker string. I like that. Alright, Mixolydian mode. Let's take it up the other octave. So we go right here, that's a G. What we're going to do is we're going to go right here to the A, shoot up a whole step. Now here's your root, the 3rd. Now it's just a piece of cake. down. I'll slow this down. All right, here's slow. Root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, root. Think of your octave as always a root, or vice versa. Your root is an octave. All right, here what I'm thinking of as a root. Here's my major second, A. See, it's right here, A, second. It's just an octave higher. You got to see this stuff if you want it. Slide up a whole step, get in position to finish the scale. So you're here, here, to the B. It's a B major third. And now it's just boom. Look at this. Here's your A here too. So it becomes this, right? This, you just play it here. But if you want the double octave, probably want to get that A here. So it's just a clean, like I said, that way you're down here, you're playing. But your mind is if you play it, you memorize. You play to memorize important stuff like theory. So I know when I'm playing this, I see this in Mixolydian mode, of course, but see, I already see this in play. So I can. You want the contrast in tones, the pitches, which is great. You want contrast. And then again, you can take this and even go all the way up to the fifth, which is D. But again, once you get a double octave down, this stuff you'll be able to add on your own, you know, if you know your notes. But again, this comes naturally. A lot of stuff has to evolve first. Guys who are just seeing, you know you're going to be good and you're not getting stuff. It evolves. Just keep playing it, and things happen. Keep the bass close here because, trust me, you get good because it's got to go in your memory long term. You want this stuff sinking in your long-term memory so you can just call it up quick. And that's basically practicing, playing gigs, getting to a band. I was just talking to Dave here behind the camera, my editor, co-producer, editor-in-chief, side buddy here with the EADG4 bass sessions. Dave's done every one with me. And we were just talking about... what were we talking about, Dave?
We're talking about playing.
Practicing.
Yes.
We're talking about practicing. And I said, well, when you do a gig, that's practicing. So if you're in a good band or whatever you do, theater, jazz, when you play a gig, that's just practicing. So the more you play, the better you get. So you can think of gigs or anything as practice or work or whatever you want to do, but the more you play, it becomes natural. To be a natural at something, you got to play a lot. All right, so that's the double octave Mixolydian mode. Again, it's used a lot in blues rock because of the blue note in it, the flat 7. So if you're in the key of G, this is your go-to on that G chord. Now, if you're going to do a 12-bar blues, it's also on your 4 chord, if you know the blues. The 4th note becomes your next chord, which is the 4 chord. Now you play Mixolydian on that because that contains both blue notes. It contains the F and the B flat. Remember, G's blue notes are B flat and F. So, if you're going to play a 4 chord in blues, you would play another Mixolydian mode to develop your bass lines. See, I'm on the 4 chord, and that's... This is the 4 chord, and I'm using a C, G, B flat. Well, that's from the Mixolydian mode. So all these bass lines do come from mostly the Mixolydian mode in blues and blues rock. Very important. All right, so the Mixolydian mode. Let me spell that again: Mixolydian. But I double checked in my book EADG4. But that's the Mixolydian mode. Very important. Don't let the names of the modes. Think that they're that's the olden days. No. That's in the circle of fifths, the modal system. It's in every song. The modes are in every song, whether you know it or not. I've said this before. Whether you know it or not, or you like it or not, you can't get around it. They're there. I realized that it took me a long time to figure it out, and I did figure it out by myself because I knew I was missing something. Especially when I was playing jazz. I'd be playing jazz and. I'd be playing, these key changes, these 7th chords. It's like, what the heck is going on? And finally, I knew it had to do. I bet it has to do with the modal system. And this was back in like late 80s. And then no one taught me the modes, because modes are hard to teach. Usually if you take a theory class, you stop at the modes, or you skate through them. You got to learn the modes on your instrument. That's the key, not in the book. Take it from the book and bring it to your instrument. All right, enough on the Mixolydian mode for now. Hopefully you'll grab it, go with it. I'll be back in a second, and we'll see what I got on my mind. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.